Alright, and now we're back over here at my sewing machine. And there's a few basic ways that you can stitch down your applique. The first would be that of a zigzag stitch. All three of these are different zigzag stitches. I've just adjusted the length of my stitch on them. This is a very, very small length of stitch so that it creates this satin stitch and it gets wider. The next way you can do is a blanket stitch. Well, it's actually one of my favorite ways, and it's pretty much the same except that you can vary the width of your stitch so that you can get a wider blanket stitch on that. And the last time we'll do is a raw edge applique, and this basically is when you're doing your free motion quilting. And so we'll go over each of those right now on our little samples. So the first one we're going to go over is a zigzag stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and select zigzag stitch, and I want it to be not completely a satin stitch but not super wide either, and so I'll adjust my stitch length accordingly. And I like to use an open mouth foot when I'm doing this just so that I can see where I'm at, but if you don't have that, you can just use your regular foot as well. And so all I'm going to do is just start on an edge here, and you want, when you're zigzag, to go on and off and on and off of the applique, and then just go ahead and move with it. Now you'll notice I'm not using any stabilizer or anything like that. Let me put it on needle down. And so you just want to make sure you try and keep it from puckering up. So if you do want to, you can put paper or a stabilizer behind what you're stitching. I just don't like to, because then I have to go tear it all out. So you're just going to go around what you're working on. And whenever you get to an edge that you need to stop, just go ahead and back stitch a stitch or two so that you keep it down. So that's your basic zigzag stitch, not too tough. So now let's go ahead, and up here we'll go ahead and move to a blanket stitch. So I'll go ahead and select that on my sewing machine. Most sewing machines do have a blanket stitch. It's going to look like this one right here. Now you want to make sure that you're lined up along the edge, and you go down, and it's going to come in and out and stitch, and then I just want to secure that, so I'm going to back stitch. Now the thing about these, this is why I like to work with a small piece and not a whole quilt, because you are having to move your fabric around working with the needles. The edges you want to go ahead and move as much as you need to so that you keep right there along the edge of the applique. So that is your basic, and as you can see, I go ahead and leave my strings. I go back and clip it when I'm all said and done. And I will finish that in just a minute. So for right now, I want to go ahead and show you the raw edge applique. And to do that, you're going to need your free motion quilting foot. So go ahead and take off your regular foot and put on your free motion foot. And this is pretty much the same as free motion quilting. You're going to go ahead and drop your feed dogs and go ahead and select your basic straight stitch and take your stitch width down to 0, and you are ready to go. And I'm just going to go around the center of these little bees. Make sure I'm about where I want to be. When I raw edge applique, I like to stay about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of my applique. And you're just going to go ahead, I like to go in place a little bit just to make sure I secure stitch. Yep, I am dropped. And you're just going to go ahead and free motion stitch all the way around the edge of your applique. You can do your stitches as long or as short as you want. With the applique, you do want to tend to lean towards the slightly shorter size. And then once again, there you go, find where you want to be at. And just go ahead and move your fabric. The nice thing about this free motion is you don't have to worry near as much about moving your fabric, all twisting and turning, because you can use the free motion style. So those are your 3 basic stitches for applique. You can do the zigzag, the blanket stitch, or the free motion stitch. So that's about it. I'm going to finish this up, clip some threads, and finish my little applique project. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and that you found it very useful. And hopefully my face isn't too close here. But thanks for joining me here, and I hope you have fun with all of your applique embellishments.